Hello, this is Patrick with P-Dubs Random, and today I'm going to talk to you about cryptocurrency.
Steady yourself even though you know that you're falling. Maybe you're falling, but you're still alive.
Why? Because that's kind of one of my new favorite things. So what I'm dealing with here is uh, kind of a crazy time to get into the market, to be honest. I waited till it went all the way up on the roller coaster and then started to fall down. And unfortunately, landed right on top of my head. So first off, what's the cryptocurrency? Well, it's a bunch of different coins that people trade. Those are the altcoins, but you've got your Bitcoin, which is going to be your standard, kind of like your common level of coin currency between everything. And then the other coins trade based on the up and down value of the Bitcoin. So why is this important? Well, that's what makes it so volatile. Because technically, Bitcoin is really nothing. It's like the dollar bill. It's only based on what you believe it's worth, because we're not on the gold standard anymore. So when you hear people talking about Bitcoin like it's a problem, it's a fake currency, well, so is your U.S. dollar. So it's only based on the faith that you put in it. So when we start looking at that, altcoins are kind of the individual, like your currencies for each individual nation. They trade into the main currency of Bitcoin, and those call them nations, as you would be basically they're small ICOs. They'll have a startup for a coin, and that coin will be representative of a project. You know what they're trying to bring to the game. You know what are they bringing to the table. Their project is doing what. So some coins, they are built on the blockchain system that is pretty much meant to build an encryption based system of sending and receiving, well, coins. Not coins, but currency. So you're pretty much exchanging it in with your country's currency, which in our case, U.S. dollar, or they may be the euros over in Europe. You're exchanging those in, and basically you're buying into the value of the coin. And the money that you put into the coin in that value is what pumps up the value of the Bitcoin as a whole. Now, when you go ahead and you do that, you are building this larger and larger and larger bank of money to which these coins are representative of. Then you got the bitcoins, which are approximately, and it's to 8 digits, which makes it pretty fine. And there's a handful of billions of coins that'll be made on this, and that's it. After that, there is no more Bitcoin to be made. But that doesn't mean that there won't be any more Bitcoin, because what it actually means is that they'll just have to find a way to do what they call a fork, and they'll turn Bitcoin into other altcoins, and those altcoins have value based on the value of Bitcoin, and the value of Bitcoin is based on what you think it is. And collectively, if there's a scare in the cryptocurrency market, then the price of the Bitcoin goes down. If things are strong and people are pumping their money into it, then it goes up. Like we seen at the end of 2017, where it reached $20,000 per Bitcoin. Now, way back in the day, if you would have bought into it, $1,000 could have made you a millionaire at this point. But I fought with it for a couple years to just kind of decide whether or not I was going to. Actually, to be honest, just decided I wasn't going to. And then lately, I've been seeing some of the logistics pan out, and you have your overnight millionaires and all that fun stuff, to where they're Bitcoin millionaires. And well, lately you've been hearing probably about some shady stuff going down, which brings me to one of the key things that I want to talk to you about today is the likelihood that Bitcoin is going to crumble. Well, the truth of the matter is, it probably isn't. I mean, to be honest, if that was the case, the US dollar wouldn't have made it past the Civil War. So, when we're looking at that, the Bitcoin, well, the market is highly volatile, and it's based on speculation. Imagine the stock market on one hand and a rabid lion on the other. Well, that's pretty much what you get. Well, let's just take a look at some of the basics of what we're looking at here. Now, I trade in Bitcoin on the Poloniex exchange, and that's just because that's who I got on with first. They're one of the largest ones. Actually, it's funny that it would come to the BTS right here. So when we look at it, excuse me, when we look at this BTS over here, this fun little thing, you see this 0.000004307 and its volume, and it's positive 9.82 today. Well, let's just say that that one did me dirty yesterday. I got cornholed, and I got spooked. And the biggest thing in what I do on here is day trading. Now, what that is basically like you do on the stock market. You buy low, sell high. And when you do it in large enough volume for small amounts, it equals a large amount of money. So, having said that, that BTS there is BitShares, which yesterday morning, the company that, well, brought about that coin, all of their assets were frozen. $600 million worth of cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, and BitShares. And that's a problem because I was sitting there looking at it going down, 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 down. Now, that for me was a problem because I do what's called a DCA. It's kind of the cost average, the dollar cost average, which basically means when you buy here and it goes down, then you buy it here as much as you did here, and it evens out somewhere in the middle. And if it goes down again, well, you pick your points at what you're going to buy, and you buy there twice as much you already have there, and then it averages out again. Now, the good thing about that is it keeps taking your profit line down. So as you going down, it brings your profit line down too. So you don't have to travel up 20% and then 1% over to make 1%. You bought half, you only got to travel up 10% plus your 1% to make money or break even. And well, if you're talking about a 20% deficit in there, then you're looking pretty bad. So having said that, BitShares was on the not this. It was on the roller coaster to hell. And I wouldn't say I got startled, but I realistically seen that I'd used my DCA and I'd doubled down a few times, and it was a large part of my portfolio, about 14%. Well, I I was a little worried. I'm like, okay, it'll bounce back and I'll just buy it down again, but I'm pretty heavily invested in it, and it's kind of hard taking excuse me, a grand and putting, almost up to half of your, well, your seed fund into that one thing that's constantly going down. But in day trading, if it goes down and you're seeing the signs, it's probably going to go back up. But I was worried, so I checked just the news to see if there was anything going on in the news. And well, each of these coins has a company that represents it, or that generally has a forum page or whatnot, and their website was down. Well, that was kind of rough. So in light of that, you need to take and dig a little further. And right there on CNBC website, there's a nice thing saying that the company was now being, cease and desist by the SEC, the Securities Exchange Commission, and basically saying that that particular company was acting as a bank and said that their funds were federally insured, and their ICO that they raised $600 million and it was federally insured. So FDIC is something that the government takes pretty seriously. It takes a lot of criteria to meet those guidelines. And here this company is saying that they were FDIC insured for that money that may or may not have been there. So basically, they were called out as a fraud and a scam, and done by the SEC, which is not like, a guy on the street trying to induce panic saying, that guy's trying to scam you. And it's not a random YouTuber saying, that guy's trying to scam you. That was the federal government saying, this person is saying we back this money and we don't. So you had that going on. Now you've also got Texas that is telling that company to get out of the state of Texas. So after looking at this, I felt that the smart thing to do was to, um, well, dump my shares. And I dumped them at 3641. And as you can see over here, it's 4289 a day later. Yep, you see this nice little trend curve up here, and a pretty good one too. Ridiculously stupid. Why? Because most people don't realize why it even dipped to begin with. And it dipped because those of us that were paying attention to the news seen what was going on. And BitShares, they may make it through this, and there may be some holes, some loopholes that they jump through, and things that they change that is going to meet and let them go forward. But to me, the government, the Securities Commission, that actually controls pretty much the entire stock market, which is just the actual legitimate version of what we're doing here, tells you and comes out there and says that this is not right and they're lying to you, and we are the people that would be in, you know they're saying that we are insuring this and we're telling you that we're not. Well, to me, yeah, that's a red flag. Now, they they froze all of their assets, their cryptocurrency and all their financial assets and everything. But I don't know what that means for everything that's already out there, all of the bit shares that are already being traded. And to me, this is kind of new territory. I mean, you've had places like BitConnect that went down, and all the other pump and dump and high yield percentage things out there. So you've had them where they've come and gone, and well, some of those things are in litigation now too. But I haven't seen one of these coins come out completely fraudulent here, and this is like one of the biggest ICOs. $600 million is not like this really small laughing matter and everything. I mean, I think the whole Bitcoin community and all of the assets are around between $500 and $600 billion, like combined, which that's not a small feat. You're talking about hundreds of millions of people putting their hard-earned money in there. And then in the case of BitShares, some of those people putting their money into the ICO, and they may be taking it and running, or tried to, or tried to fake it until they make it. That could be one thing, and unfortunately the government doesn't like that type of thing, especially when it has to do with your money and my money. But end result was illegal stuff was happening and they were being shut down. However, we can see that BitShares is still listed, and even on the Polonius exchange. So I don't know what the status of that is. All I know is it's on my ban list, because I don't want to be the person there holding the bag waiting for the money when the government says, yeah, well, that's not going to happen because we just shut them down and you don't get money. So I'm not trying to let that happen. So I dumped it, lost about 2-3% of my portfolio yesterday, and that's okay. Could be worse. I could have been 14, 15, 20% into it vested, and then in the next couple days or weeks or whatever the case is, they decide to delist it, and I'm stuck there with a big old figurative bag of BitShares holding it, wondering what to do with it, and it's now defunct. So I don't think that would be the first time that that would happen either. Alright, so in conclusion, the basis of what you want to do with the Bitcoin is, well, amass as much as you can and hope that the market goes up. So the more people that are investing in the market is going to mean that the higher that the Bitcoin is going to go up. And I mean, there's a lot of people out there that are trying to get it to use to spend for everyday expenses. You've got the black market that people use for it. I don't even know how you do that, but I'm pretty sure it's not a good idea. But it seems like the majority of what my interaction with the Bitcoin is going to be from the trading platform. I don't plan on using it to purchase anything. I don't plan on using it to accept payment for anything, although I have thought about it. You know, I do sell a lot of stuff on the side, but cryptocurrency is something where you've got to take a leap of faith out on somebody. And um, I mean, there's a lot of things going on between your cryptocurrencies right now, as far as getting. I've heard of instances where people got carjacked and their hard wallets taken or stolen. You've had hacks and breaches on large scale of exchanges. One exchange I seen they lost about 33% of one particular coin. I don't know what it was. I'd heard the story. I didn't see the validity of the story, so this is only hearsay on that part. Is that they lost about 33% of this certain coin, and everybody that held it pretty much lost 33% of theirs. So even though the exchange lost it, they told each individual customer that they were going to reduce their wallet size that was active on the network at that time by 33%. And what are you going to do? If your money's not in your own personal wallet, then it's fair game to whatever is going on in the exchange, whether it's hacking or whatever they are doing with your money. It's just like a bank. That's what the exchange kind of is. It swaps around. Trading is day trading, and the great thing about this over the stock market is, well, this thing never sleeps. So get your money in when you can. Do, don't. I mean, it's building a community of people, you know. And one of the big things with that is that you can make a lot of money in it if you know what you're doing. So, thanks for watching. If you like, subscribe, hit the like button. Got more stuff to come. Check out my next video. It's going to be on a fun little thing called the profit trailer, which would be this nice little thing right here that you probably seen me playing around with from the get-go. So check us out. I'll have some helpful hints and tips and about some day trading going on here, and we'll get those profits up and get the community growing. All right. We will see you next time.